Fate Be Changed, Chapter 21, Merida. Merida was too stunned to speak. She plopped back down on the fallen tree trunk for fear that her suddenly weak limbs would not support her. Her mind refused to accept the determination she had reached. But how could she refute it? She had heard countless stories of our father's bravery and ability to pull the clans together to defeat the Vikings had saved them all. But if Princess Eleanor and Fergus did not marry, if Eleanor married to Clan Fraser instead, her father would not have the same influence over the clans. He would be seen as just another member of Clan Dunbrock, not significant enough to inspire the other clans to follow his lead. The Vikings would slaughter them all, clan by clan. Merida could still not process her role in all of this. How could one tiny action on her part have such extreme consequences? She did not have time to lament over her mistakes. She must commit all her energy to getting her parents together. She could not fail. The fate of her entire clan, of many clans, hung in the balance. I must make a plan, Merida said. She jumped up from the tree, but Freya grabbed her by the hand before she could take a step. Where are you going? Nowhere, Merida said. I need to move. It's the only way I can think clearly. Freya grimaced. You make me dizzy with all this back and forth, lass. I am sorry, Merida said as she trampled the ground underneath her feet. How should I go about getting my parents together now that Eleanor is already promised? She stopped pacing as a thought occurred to her. Maybe her betrothed can fall for another. It would be the easiest route, don't you think? I am not sure there is a lass in all of Scotland who could convince a young man to break his betrothal to the princess. Merida leveled a curious look at Freya. Wouldn't that book you carry have a spell that could make it happen? No more spells, Freya said. She was right. The witch's spells had caused enough damage. Merida threw her head back in frustration, and looked up at the sky. She was astonished that it could so closely resemble the sky she had spent hours gazing at while relaxing in the glen, when the reality she was currently living underneath it was so different from everything she knew. I wish I could talk to my mother about this. She's excellent when it comes to planning. But if I told Eleanor how I really came to be in the forest, she would think me mad. Do not tell anyone how you came to be here, Merida, Freya warned. People will label you a witch, or worse, and you will be cast out of the castle. I know what I am speaking of. I know you do, Merida said, recalling the attitude she had encountered in the village when she had asked about the woodcarver. She wondered how long Freya and her mother had been labeled outcasts. Maybe Merida could help. Once she was back in Dunbrock, she could influence her mother and father to make a declaration of some sort. Or she could do so herself when she was in a position to make decisions as a member of the royal family. Come on, girlie. Back to the matter at hand, Freya said. Yes, Merida nodded. One thing at a time. I must get my parents on the path to falling in love before her betrothal is announced at the Highland Games. And before the solstice, Freya interjected. Remember, the solstice is your best chance at returning home. Which means I have even less time to bring them together. Merida rubbed her temples to stave off the headache that was beginning to form. Arranging another meeting between Eleanor and Fergus would not be difficult now that she knew where the Dunbrock clansmen were camped. The challenge lay in convincing Eleanor not to spurn Fergus. It was hard to believe these two people who were so hostile to each other were the same people who had raised her. Her parents were nauseatingly in love. The one bright side to all of this is that the princess is not too keen on marrying her betrothal either, Merida said. How do you know that? Merida was not sure she should share anything more about Eleanor. The princess had impressed upon her how important it was that her intentions remain a secret. But Merida needed someone in whom she could trust and confide. Freya was her only ally outside of Eleanor. Please do not share this with anyone, but when the princess found me in the woods, she was in the process of running away because she is against her betrothal. Freya's eyes light up. Well, that works in your favor, does it not? If the princess disagrees with the Fraser lad as a match, it is not just the Fraser lad. The princess does not want to marry anyone, Merida said. Oh. Freya bit her bottom lip. That is unfortunate. Understandable, but unfortunate. This may make it more difficult for you to bring her and your father together. You have no idea, Merida said. Eleanor does not trust Clan Dunbrock due to the long feud between the clans, and she despises my father. Merida's shoulders slumped. Convincing Princess Eleanor that Fergus of Dunbrock is trustworthy will be impossible. Not if Fergus shows her that he is, Freya said. Merida swung around, her eyes widening. Are you suggesting he court her? Well, that is how it is done when the match is not already made by virtue of one's birth, she said. However, there is not enough time for a formal courtship, especially one between two young people from opposing clans. You will need to hurry things along, lass. You are right, Merida said. But how was Merida to convince her mother that Fergus was trustworthy when she wasn't so sure she trusted him? Something about his presence in the forest continued to gnaw at her. He was withholding something from her. He was certain of it. But another thing Merida was certain of was that her father was the most honorable man she knew. There had to be a good reason for his delay in seeing the king. Her ultimate goal remained the same, to get her parents to fall in love. I must return to the castle and fetch the princess, Merida said. I am to teach her how to start a fire. She shot Freya a knowing look. Maybe I will solicit Fergus's help with today's lesson. If the sparks she had witnessed between these two during the previous meeting were anything to go on, they should have no problem starting a fire. It was best she fanned the flames in her favor before she ran out of time. And I shall return to my shop so that I can continue searching for a spell to send you back home, Freya vowed. It is the only spell I will work on until the solstice arrives.